So today, Global Vision, we fully support the organisers' aims here in that there is a need for a new economic vision. Indeed, I would say nothing less than a moral and cultural revolution, as the God of the age has fallen. And let us be clear about this. All of us, to a lesser or greater extent, have been colluding with the values of the system. I don't just mean greed, but materialism, homo economicus, the free market, and not just unregulated capitalism. So the God of the age has fallen, and the protesters are correct in stating that capitalism is not working. Well, all I'll say about that is taking a bit of a while to get to that conclusion, because it's not been working for the developing countries for many decades. And there's that silent genocide going on. The world economy runs on the lines of a global casino economy. Again, that is rooted in our culture, the lotto. You know, we're going to point the finger at those people there. It's in the culture. Gambling, the lotto. We've got a dilemma here. So, the world economy runs on the lines of a global casino economy where the house always wins and where most people are losers. Let us be clear that we have a bankrupt global financial architecture post-Bretton Woods. It collapsed in 71 to 73 period, and what we're seeing is the collapse of the second Bretton Woods. We have zombie banks, and this is not my view. What I'm saying is culled from our think tank and network. We have zombie banks, and we have politicians, and it's great we're having it here, in a centre of power and parliamentary discourse. And we have politicians behaving as headless chickens, showing no leadership, and indeed exacerbating the problem. Why should the people, why should we have faith and confidence in those at the helm, both bankers and politicians, who created a problem to be our saviours? For the last 18 months, despite all the emergency measures taken to date, none of them have stopped the global economy falling over the cliff. That is what has happened. The OECD claims a 4.3 contraction in advanced countries in 2009, and joblessness may rise by 25 million. Hear what I say, 25 million by 2010. We have an invisible quadrillion. Numbers mean nothing now. You're probably asking me what on earth is a quadrillion? So we have an invisible 1 quadrillion derivatives equation underpinning the $100 trillion plus debt pyramid manifest as 8 bubbles. We've only seen the first bubble, ladies and gentlemen. And it continues to experience trillion-dollar black holes in which capital on the balance sheet vaporizes without warning, month in, month out. Let me be clear. I don't want to make this a technical debate. I agree with the speakers. Basically, toxic assets, which I'm sure you've heard of that term in the media, they cannot and should not be eliminated at the taxpayer's expense. Now, governments via central banks trying to hyperinflate and levitate the system by pumping trillions of dollars of liquidity into the system. The net impact is manifest via two opposite north and south directional vectors, hyperinflation and deflation. The two vectors collide continuously to create several vortices as the markets change direction nearly every day, exhibiting high volatility. It's a very complex situation, but let's get to the heart of the matter. This G20 London Summit, in terms of the agenda, the diagnosis, we need to know what is the problem. some people have dismissed that. I'm afraid, unless we have the right diagnosis, we are not going to have the right prescription. And it's very simple. It might surprise you. But we need to overcome deceit, the global web of deceit, including the media and the politicians and the bankers. As simple as that. Now, the G20 London Summit, in terms of the agenda, diagnosis and prescription, which is embodied in their roadmap and final communique in the next few hours, does not deal with the root causes and will only guarantee to lead to a greater crisis. It is a phony show to fool the people, following April's Fool's Day that all is well, and we are back on track and normality, and business will go back as usual. Now, no disrespect to Excel and the paper, I think it's best used for toilet paper, and even better as recycled paper. We are approaching, ladies and gentlemen, the finest, so I am an optimist, or final hour of humanity, with World War III looming. Those who think I'm a scaremonger, well, check your history. Was there a slum in World War I? Was there a slum in World War II? I challenge you. We need emergency action globally. We need to firewall the real economy and discard the artificial derivative global casino economy, which is approaching a quadrillion. These toxic assets cannot be bailed out at taxpayers' expense, as has been done especially in the UK and the US. Financial fraud, let us be clear, has been engaged in and condoned by the authorities at an unimaginable scale. We do not need reforms, but economic democracy. As simple as that. To clean out the city, and dare I say, this house. There's a collusion of fraudulent moneylenders and bankers. That's what Jesus did with the temple. We need to clean out the city and this house and the corrupt politicians who are not serving the people. They're on the gravy train. The first drops of blood were shed on the streets of London yesterday of a protester and a policeman. Now, unless we address the central issue of the people in banks, we are heading for more trouble. And let me come to the core issue. The core issue is who has the right to create and control the money supply. Is it the illegitimate monopoly of private-controlled central banks and the banking system, or genuinely public-controlled, of a public-controlled financial and banking system? I am arguing we need a moral and cultural revolution. We need a universal paradigm shift. Mistakes, friends, have been made in the past. Did we not think as humans that the earth was at the centre of the universe? Did we not think at one time women were evil and witches and they should be burnt at the stake? Check your history. Likewise, now we are faced with a challenge which we all need to rise to, that we have been worshipping the free market and mammon and money, and heeding the economic priesthood of bankers and the false signs of economics, which has led us to this disaster. We need to wake up, all of us. We need to learn from history. Otherwise, we are condemned to repeat the same mistake.